Hello, hello. Excuse me. How are we all doing? Oh, hold on. There is a technical difficulty. I've got the spinning wheel at death at the moment. Uno momento. I'll be back in 2 seconds. OBS doesn't want to play ball right now. All right, we back? Are we back? Oh, good. Good. Sky Kid, what's going on? Issue Don't Know, great to have you back. Super, what's going on? Gamer, welcome. Twal, great to have you. Faizan, what's going on? Okay, there's a little sketch I was doing before stream. D Graves Art, thanks for popping in. Okay, technical difficulties out of the way. Hope you're all doing well. Parasaurolophus. Yeah, these are one of my favorites as well. They're pretty cool. Pretty cool. Today, I want to play around with some painting, some simple shapes, but I want to combine these two somehow. Kind of what I wanted to do last week, but never got around to it. So I want to place this guy in the scene somehow when we paint this scene. I want to pump up some of the colors as well, which will be good. Thank you for the kind words, Faizan. Can't use the right brushes for the base and how to add strokes without blending too much along with values. Those massive questions, honestly, I can't answer them right now. I just don't have time. My life is like a fart. Glad to have you. A little quiet again. I think it might just be me, honestly. I haven't touched anything and I'm afraid of peaking. Hello. How is this for the volume? Is that feeling okay? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Now good? Yeah, I think it's just it's a me issue. It's a me issue. Let us start off with our base. I'm just going to jump right into it, okay? I'm just going to jump into it. Volume's fine on your end. Evangelia, beautiful. Alrighty. Oh, indigestion. The coffee's hitting me. Alright. I haven't done too many like nighttime scenes. So I think that could be kind of a fun little thing to try and tackle. So I'm just going to jump into it. The links, I should be a good Samaritan and send you the links to these references if you do want to. So I've got my Dino. Pinterest reference. And I believe this one is in the Cars Pinterest reference. So if you do want to give that a whirl, just through the links into the YouTube chat. Now what I might do, I'm just going to do a tiny little sketch, you know. The fun part of this is going to be playing with the subtleties, right? Let's see what we can do here. How pixelated is this going to be? We've got a lot of room. Maybe I scale them up just a tad. Just so we got a bit to play with, you know. Okay. Environment study. Let us begin. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend and or beginning of your week. So trying to get that car. No, I'm not looking for perfection here. I am looking more so for just something to work within. And then we've got to figure out where we're going to put our little dinosaur, our Parasaurolophus. Alright, so there's a little gas and or petrol things. Just to begin with. Boom, we're going to have a nice little highlight. I did like the reflections on the car here that we can have a play around with. Now, everything else in the background here is going to be dark. Not much light at all. This is going to be an interesting little challenge. So the challenge here is going to be in subtleties, I think. Mark, how you doing? Woke up to get a glass of water. Thought I'd say hello. Hello. How you doing? Hope the water's good. Okay. So now we've got a base. Let's throw in our local values. Let's say there's a lot of grays, a lot of subtleties, but I would like to bump up the color in some of these. That would be nice. And I would also like to have the filthy plugin work, so make sure it hits fill. Reduce that value right the way down. Now I want to rely less on layers because I want to go fast today. Right, well, not fast, but I want to be efficient. So I'm just going to whip in because I want to get something feeling quite nice by the end of this, you know. So let's really think about our values. Block in, so this car is kind of like that blue base. Just going to block him in here. So yeah, I thought it was just an interesting, different kind of vibe, you know. Something that I'm not used to doing. Excuse me. And we're going to be focusing a lot on the light and how that's bouncing around the place. Speaking of light, had the second week of the grey matter live workshop last week. No, not last week. Well, technically, yesterday, Sunday, which was good. I'm pretty sure everyone did their homework, which is fantastic. Super happy to see that. And yeah, starting to feel it was good. It was just getting that first one out the way, shake off all the nerves, and then it felt good. It was just like, all right, we can sort of cruise into this a little bit more, you know, like, because the way I like to run it is have like an outline, but not be so rigid to then allow for questions and all that kind of stuff. Because I find if I make it too rigid, what on earth is happening here? Oh, okay, because this is that color. That's fine. We'll just work with this for now. Because if it's too rigid, I find that there's no room for spontaneity. There's no room for questions that just take us off into tangents. So it's been fun. And it's nice to be able to dive deeper into subjects as well without feeling like it's boring or whatever. For example, one of these streams, I could just like dive deep into a whole bunch of stuff. Is Autodesk Sketchbook good for digital art? I've not tried it. Most of your digital art platforms are gonna be pretty decent nowadays, you know. Then it's just gonna be a matter of preference. What I'm trying to get going here is a bit of context. I might even, what if I do a sneaky, just for speed, the no blend chisel brush, just to get some of these shapes in. That could be quite nice. Because we're going to rely a lot on the lights that are going to be telling us a lot of this information and these real little subtleties. Subtle value transitions, subtle bits and pieces. Now I know this is probably not going to algorithmically do fantastic because it's not a super bright, crazy colored sort of thing. But I've got to practice the other stuff as well. Otherwise, I become a one-trick pony. That is not something I want to do. Okay, so let's pump in some of this red here. So that's going to be there, sick. Bit of red on top of here. We could even make this a little on the bluer. Cool it down a tad. We don't have to go verbatim to the reference. Now, let's add another layer on top and add in just our indications of the light sources. Let's go maybe that size. That could be nice. That there. Now, because we haven't got them 1000% accurate, we've got to make some of our own decisions. Sapnap88, how you doing? Chris, welcome back, my friend. Deborah, what's your name on Twitch? Ben Eblin, I think. I'm pretty sure. Ben Eblin, Benjamin Eblin, one of those ones. You'll be able to find me. Now we had this chat. Excuse me, the indigestion. My apologies. The conversation came about in the workshop yesterday about digital tools versus knowing what's actually happening. I would like to think, like all these layers and stuff, they're lovely, right? They're really helpful, super useful, all fun. But at the same time, we don't necessarily, or I don't, let's say, I'll talk in what I want. is not to be reliant on the digital tools, you know. I don't want to be, oh, I can only do this effect because it's got this super specific brush. You know what I mean? On the other side of the world here. Yep. Okay, so we got that little indication of that. Also, I was meant to do that yesterday. I've got to start booking my flights to get to the US and A for Lightbox. I've just been consumed recently with the course, the workshop, and the course as well. Been working a little bit with Drea in the course as well, doing the assignments through Drea, which has been nice. Drea being my soon to be released course platform. Now here you can see it's slowly starting to come together, very, very slowly. It looks like pretty jank at the moment, but we'll get there. All right, so we got the lights, but now we need to start having the environment here react to some of these light sources. So certain bits and pieces are going to be lit up. Versus others. Right, this floor is going to be quite lit. It's all about context, a lot of it. It's not specific values. It's not getting everything. Like this is a 60% value, or this other thing is like a 20%. It doesn't matter. At least for me. I'm focusing on context more so than anything else. So here, I'm going to try and do a bit of a hue shift. For the different types of concrete. Now if you want to try this as well at home, don't try, I mean, you do what you want, okay? I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I would recommend, my recommendation would be to take your time with this, okay? Don't try and just smash in a bunch of shapes as quickly as you can, kind of like I'm doing, if you're not used to doing this, because that's a one-way ticket to frustration. Right, believe you me, I have been there, and I still visit there from time to time. Right, but what you want to do is really think about what you're doing. At least that's what really helped me. Some of that reflection happening here, happening there. Maybe a little bit of that red could be nice. And this is going to be reflecting that. So we're starting to get a bit of that reflection illusion here, which is always fun to sort of throw in. So it's just, you squint your eyes, you're like, okay, something's coming together, you know. Extreme maybe, what's going on? I thought you were live on Twitch. No. Actually, I have an issue. I've got an issue with Twitch. That's, we had some technical difficulties. So today, only on YouTube and Instagram. Deborah? Unfortunately, I've got to figure that out. Because it is a pain in the ass But YouTube and Instagram typically never fails me. Instagram can be a bit iffy sometimes. Sometimes they quit the stream a little early, which is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. Is Shanraj, how you doing? So I'm keeping this really small as well, the reference, because I don't need the details right now. I don't need to know any of the details. If anything, they will confuse me. Now we've got to figure out where we're putting this little dinosaur as well. We're on the in the composition, because he's going to be influenced by the light source. I'm also pushing and pulling some colors that I'm seeing. They might not be crazy accurate, but I'm sort of enhancing them a little bit more than what I'm sort of seeing in the reference. All right, see just that, the hood of that car right there. That's quite nice. That gives me a little bit of context of what's going on the hood, on the bonnet. And now all this is going to be in shadow, more or less. So let's just block this in one kind of shadow shape to begin with. Even more. Right, so we're getting some dimension here already, which is nice. Rock Sandwich Art, thank you so much. You have a good one. I've got to contact Epidemic Sound. Not like I have a connect there. But if they had like playlists that were consistent, that would be lovely. Okay. Whoa. Alright, see how that door now looks like it's swung open a little bit. That's all just an illusion. Everything we're doing here is just observation, a bit of understanding, and mostly just illusions. But there's a logic to it that I try and follow, particularly with the light. See how that kind of glows now a little bit without the top? And now with the top, it makes sense. It has some context, you know. Deborah, what program you use? So this is Photoshop, but I have actually I have used Procreate a lot in the past, and I've started to use it a lot more as well. Christian, what's going on, dude? How are ya? Great to have you join. I say this almost every other stream. We should figure out the whole Discord thing. Do you have any audio filters on OBS? No, why is that? Is it sounding weird? I would like to actually. I'd like to do a bit of compression. Oh, because I want to just have like if any of my mates just pop in chat, and I can just turn them on so then you guys can hear the conversation, but just have it already set up, and then yeah, just have a chat, and you never know who's going to pop in. Oh, gamer, thank you. Yo, do you combine Twitch and YouTube chat? No, because I think it's against Twitch's terms of service to combine the two, which is very stupid. Hamza, what about Clip Studio Paint? Yeah, that's great as well. I've used Clip Studio Paint in the past. I reckon it's great, but I just tend to go back to the stuff that I know. But there are definitely benefits. Crit is pretty great as well. Honestly, Crit is pretty good. Krita. Oh yeah, I did that with a friend a few weeks ago. Discord is easy. Yeah, but I'm using this thing called Caster, which is cool. Oh, I've already got Discord in here, so maybe it would be easier enough just to turn it on. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing right now, Christian. If you want to hop on. Oh, it's the double audio for me though. That was the issue. That's what I've got to figure out. Because I want to hear Christian, but I also want to hear not double through Discord and that kind of thing. Shoot, I've always had people complain about it. Yeah, I don't know. It depends. It's probably just how big you are on Twitch as well. So it might not matter for a while until you start popping. Em and her friends are doing karaoke, so you might hear it in the background. Yeah, maybe we give it a miss today, only because I think the audio feedback I've got to figure out. Yeah, it's against the terms of service, yeah. It's so stupid. Like, okay. It's like they want everyone, like, I get it, but it's just silly. It's like, oh no, you can't realize that there are other streaming services that people are using anyway. Next time I stream Wednesday, if you want to hop on there, that'll be my Thursday. Maybe, dude. Yeah, let me know. Flick me a message. Yeah, so now all you need is a channel to hang out in and some roles in your server for specific people to enter that channel. That'll be cool. So they can just hop in, and then just every now and then we're just like, oh shit, we've got whoever. Because I'd like to be, I'd like to do that sort of stuff. Just have some chats with some of my mates on here. Hamza, appreciate you, my friend. Multi-streaming was against terms of service on Twitch for a while. Yeah. It was, but now they've loosened up on that. But then they're like, oh no, you can't let anyone else know that you've got other people on a different platform that honestly isn't as good at streaming as Twitch. Twitch is like, that's their bread and butter, right? The discoverability is terrible though. Sounds dangerous, but it could be fun. It could be very fun. That's what I'm after. Oh, Deborah, thank you so much. Discovered it today. Interesting. If you don't mind me asking, where did you find it? I'd be interested to know. I DM'd you and sent you an email, as I remember, but you never responded. What was that for? Because some of my DMs, or a majority of them, honestly, go into requested. So then I've got to remember to go into my requested, which I am not very good at. Cool. All right. So we're getting somewhere. I wouldn't mind throwing this little chair here. That gives it a little bit of character, you know. Whip this little thing in here. If I'm honest, I've been burning the candle at both ends for quite a while, trying to get this stuff set up with Drea and the workshop and everything. And as Christian can attest, my response rate has been dismal. Extreme, maybe. I've seen people stream YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook at the same time. Yeah, you can do that. It's possible. It's just, I think, if you're like a quote-unquote bigger streamer or whatever, Twitch could have a problem with that. Yeah, it's just one of those risk and reward things. Mind you, I'm tiny, teeny tiny on Twitch, so it doesn't even matter. But yeah, you can multi-stream to all of them. TikTok, I'm not entirely sure how, because I think getting the stream key is tricky now. We need a Francis stream. That's what will be coming very soon. I can't wait to get those podcasts up and running again. Because a lot has happened since our last episode. But see here, going back to the artsy-fartsy stuff, you notice how like this isn't like a smooth transition. It's just gradients. You can have like a nice cool little look to it, even though it's not like a perfectly rendered out thing. I love that kind of rendering style. Is the really blocky graphic Rappel kind of style, which is kind of what I'm going for here. I would like to do a longer effort on one of these as well, because they're always capped at like the stream length. But this week's topic for the workshop is going to be specular highlights. My favorite, and many people's favorites, I think. And local values. So I've got to get all that prepped. So I'll be doing straight after stream. Yeah, because I missed doing the podcast with Francis. We still chat all the time, but we've both been very busy. But yeah, they'll definitely be coming back, because it's nice to really like analyze. I cannot tell you how excited I am to get back into like YouTube videos and back in the game, you know, get back in the YouTube grind. I feel like I never really got into it, if I'm honest. I was just sort of like popped my head in, and then I was gone. But I want to figure out an angle that isn't just, where it isn't only like tutorials, you know. I want to stand out somehow. Andy, what's going on? Got a glass of ale after supper and ready to join in on the painting. Legend. Great to have you, Andy. Welcome. Found you through through a Procreate video. Oh, nice. Oh, fantastic. That was from Lightbox last year. Yeah, no, that was good fun to record. I'll tell you a bit of behind the scenes at Proco. First day that actually it was the same day. Christian picked me up from the airport, went and dropped my bags at his house, and then we headed straight to the Proco offices. Come off of a 17-hour, like stupid 17-hour flight or something. I barely remember it. It was like a fever dream. But yeah, got to go check out the Proco offices. Ended up in like a Nerf gunfight somehow. I don't even know how that happened, but I just remember jumping around the offices, just shooting at each other. And then the week later, I was due to come in, I think maybe on the Friday, to record some stuff with them, and just had just violent food poisoning as soon as I got to the office. So that was cancelled. So then I came back on the Monday and finished it off. Never had food poisoning in my life. My suspect, I'm not going to say the place because you never know. No, I won't mention the place because you don't know. There's no 100% certainty. But yeah, so that was an experience. But no, everyone there is so cool, so chilled, super friendly. It's probably too early for an ale for you. Times have flipped between us. Whereabouts you from, Andy? You in the UK, Europe side of the world? I own too many Nerf guns. It would be inevitable with me too. There you go. Oh, US. Okay. Indiana, nice one. I don't know why I thought ale and then just went straight to like England. Yep, not definitely on the other side of the earth. But yeah, for those that don't know, I will be back at Lightbox this year again. Going to be sharing a table with the one and only Mr. Rembert Montold, which is going to be sick. You see how we got something happening here? Slowly. We're just talking away, you know. But it's slowly coming together. I think we can start darkening some of these shapes in here. So pineapple on a pizza, yes or no? 100%. 100%. That's what I grew up with. We have something here called what is it? Australian Pizza House. I think that's what it's called. Australian Pizza. Yeah. And they're like square. They're square pizzas. Oh. I'm not a massive pizza guy, personally. But if I was to have one, get one of the center square pizzas of the Australian Pizza House. Oh. With a damper, with a garlic damper. It's crazy to think we're just able to broadcast from our bedrooms to the other side of the world. I know. It boggles my mind. It still boggles. I say this like periodically every other week, but just like people that are popping in from like all over the place. Just hanging out, you know. It's pretty cool. I'm also toying with the idea, like with a few people. I really want to try something different with not even something different. Excuse me. like the whole streaming and content side of thing, I'm looking at the sort of gaming space, right? What they've done there, and how they're able to have like orgs essentially. Like you've got OTK and offline TV and that sort of stuff. Now it could be the reason we don't see something like that in the art space is there's not enough people, or the scale of the market isn't as large. But I'd like to toy around with something along those lines eventually, or even just like entertain the idea of like what that might look like. I don't even know what I'm thinking about with it at the moment, but I don't know. I feel like there's a missing something. Yeah, it's not quite what Proco has, or like a corridor. There's like a mix between that, right? So it's like the OTK, you've got offline TV, you've got like even like the Proco, the corridor crew. Yeah, the corridor crew would probably be like the closest kind of thing. But even from the streaming standpoint, right? Like having like even that idea of like people hopping in and out of each other's streams, you know, and like getting a group of people together doing that kind of thing under like one umbrella. I don't know, like on a consistent basis. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know what I'm thinking about. But I've just been thinking about it more and more recently, and just looking at other industries, because we've got to find that balance if we were to do something like that between the sort of. I really like what Adam Savage has done between the sort of education and entertainment kind of stuff with his channel. I love that so much. Yeah, 1,000%. The streams wouldn't be the key thing. They would be supplemental. No, I agree. Andy headed to Lightbox again this year. Tickets plain, all paid for. Legend. Heading there with the whole family again. Nice one. Beautiful. That'll be good. Oh, you'll have to swing past and say hi. We have square pizzas here too. It is a restaurant called Pizza King that serves it. There's something about the squareness that I like. It makes sense. It fits in the box nicely. It's, yeah. The main thing would be have to produce something other than just streams. I have the same goal with game dev. Have a studio, make videos about game dev and 3D art, and then also make games. Yeah. They've got to work together. And really you've got to, it's a marketing play at that point. What gets the eyeballs, right? While also keeping it sustainable for yourself and something that you enjoy doing. But yeah, you can't, I don't think just doing it with the streams is the goal, or is the play at least. It's got to be a combination of the long form and short form content. Short form to just get recognition or just eyeballs, right? Not necessarily conversions to anything in particular, but it's just that sort of awareness. I get, look, we're doing a Make Now Think Later podcast right now, but yeah, I like, but it's so fun because it's just it's all a game to figure out, you know. Savage's work is the best on here. Something I always like watching is a Q&A. Same. I was watching one before the stream started. I think it's fantastic. And I'd love to, yeah, experiment with that myself, you know what I mean? So I want to like do a bit of the physical art, the traditional art, the digital stuff. What that looks like, I don't know, but that's kind of the plan. Well, there is no real plan, but that's just been bouncing around my head for a while. Because there will be tutorials, you better believe it. But I've also got to keep that point of difference, I think, in one way or another. And I think there's a benefit to thinking a little bit harder about this stuff, because then you have a little bit more control, and you can really understand, okay, what you attempted, did it work, did it not work, what worked about it, then you can iterate on it, versus like scattershot a whole bunch of stuff out there and then just be like, oh, one of these popped off, and you kind of have no idea. Impromptu, make now, think later short, that's it. Maybe you could take Q&A about the social aspect of working in the industry too. The business and networking aspects aren't catered to enough on YouTube. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I'm not alone, but like I'm kind of like a weird person to talk to about that stuff. Because I'm still trying to figure all this stuff out. I don't even see myself as like in the industry. Like, what is the industry? It's like art as like a broad thing, but it's like digital art, but I also do like traditional stuff. I don't work for a studio, but I have done work for a studio or studios. I'm doing my own online education as the business end, building the platform as well. So there's like, I think doing the more broad, how would you say? The crux of it is like, I want to share the stuff that I'm really enthusiastic about and really like into, and the intricacies of it, while keeping it high enough level that it's interesting and doesn't get too into the weeds, and keeping it general enough within the creator art space where there's a large enough audience to then talk about these different things, instead of just being digital art skew, if that makes sense. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, and that's not going to happen overnight, you know. Maybe something as simple as how to present yourself to the non-artists you have to work with. A lot of that comes down to just being like, I don't know, just being like, we're working with people, you know, and if you're like nice to work around, then opportunities are gonna open up to you. You know, if you're just a pleasant person to be around in general, that's how I judge it. I want to work with people. Like, I don't care how popular you are. I've got no interest in doing collaborations if you're like not very nice to be around, you know. And that goes for not being nice to be around to others, not just to like myself, if that makes any sense. Take a shower is a good start. Very 1000%. Hygiene. Yeah. Definitely. Should be number one on the list. The golden rule, don't be a jerk. Pretty much. Yeah. And be like genuinely interested in other people as well. Like, there's little things I've learned along the way that just like, yeah, be interested in, one, what you're working on, and two, what other people are working on, because the number one thing that people like talking about is themselves. So if you can get people talking about themselves, particularly when you first meet them, you know, and be genuinely interested in what they're doing, goes a long way. Instead of thinking about like, oh, what can you get out of the transaction? But yeah, anyone that I work with, I kind of like, is this person someone that I'd like to spend a lot of time with outside of work, you know? Because we're only here for a limited time. So I'd much prefer to enjoy myself and who I'm working with. Enthusiasm is infectious. You can use that to move a project along. 1,000%. And even KSM, what's going on, dude? I see you. Someone else said hi as well. Okia Diart Mural. My apologies for the butcher. Appreciate the kind words. The same can be said with content, I think, as well. Enthusiasm. I've mentioned this so many times, but I'll mention it again. Like Adam Savage, he was talking about gauge blocks. Gauge blocks are things that you measuring things with, like rulers and or like how, like machining tools, how to get things and like calibrate stuff. I don't care about that. Am I ever going to see a gauge block in my life? Probably not. But the way that Adam talks about those gauge blocks, there's so much enthusiasm behind it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm watching it. I'll throw it on in the background. And he even talks about this as well. There's like oftentimes a thread between what he's talking about as well. Like it's not just about the thing or the tool or anything. There's typically a life lesson he's learned about something and that kind of thing. So yeah, very, very cool kind of stuff. And it's why I almost have, I'm in two minds when people say like, yeah, gotta find that niche. I'm like, yes. But I think you can also create the niche yourself in a way. It helps to kickstart if you've got a niche that already has an audience, definitely. But I think for the longer term, you almost, there are opportunities to then like almost create the niche of you in a way. But these are all just random thoughts that I'm thinking about. Am I making any sense? I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, I cannot wait. If you don't know, nice. Cap, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okia Diart. Okiadi Art Mural. .graffiti. Thank you very much for the kind words. That's why I asked the same question to get to know you. Like, what's your favorite adult beverage? Aha. Very good, Extreme Movie. My favorite adult beverage? I'm not a big drinker, if I'm honest, but it's not like I don't drink, but it's not something that I do very often by any stretch of the imagination. But I've always had this thought that most adult beverages try and disguise the actual taste of the alcohol, you know. There you go. Rohit, what do you look at when you flip? The whole thing, the thing as a whole, or depending on like if it's a proportion thing, it might be the thing like the eyes in relation to one another, or the eyes and the nose and that kind of thing, and that can help. But here I'm kind of just looking at the same thing. Is this still reading? You know? Open bar. Yeah, that's the thing. That's a good caveat, gamer. Is it an open bar? Am I paying for this thing? If not, I'm probably going for the lowest, or like the lower calorie kind of thing. Probably a vodka of some sort. Potentially vodka soda. had a bad experience with cider when I was younger. And it still affects me to this day. How's your health? It's going pretty good. Thank you. Fingers crossed. Touch wood. A good whiskey, or if I'm feeling cheeky, a pina colada. I am getting enough sleep and enough water. Thank you very much, Ishi. Or I don't mind a oh, what's the one with egg whites with whiskey? Oh, I can't. Also, I'm not promoting drinking or whatever because I know there's some younger people in here. Someone just asked me a question, you know. I don't profess to say that this is a kid-friendly thing, but just in case. Disclaimer. Health is good. I don't know. I haven't seen you do squats in a few months. Super. Calling me out. I've been keeping up at the gym though, which is good. I haven't done house squats. That's the only thing I haven't been doing. In-home squats have been lacking. I swear to God, if this continuity thing doesn't... Okay, there we go. All right, let's zoom in a tad. But no, I've been keeping up. I actually went climbing with Francis like 4 days ago. 3 days ago. I probably can't see it anymore, but I just ruined my hands. Like just blister, 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 blister. And my forearms are absolutely killing me. So I'm trying to hit. And that was a good bit of fun as well. The bouldering. Super challenging. Francis is a bloody legend at it. But yeah, trying to keep the gym consistent. I'll be going after this. Trying to go like 4 days a week, 5 days a week. 5 days is like okay, cool, this is a good week. Because I did take a couple of weeks off recently from I was doing I think I might have mentioned it, the Mike Israetel. I did like an 8-week program, which was good. Have you worked with Disney before? No, I haven't. Leaks art. Hey, I recently did a stylized portrait study following one of your classes. I hope you get a chance to see it at some point. It's on my Instagram. Fantastic, Leaks. Did you flick that through the DMs? Not making any promises because I don't want to disappoint, but your best bet is to flick it through or just tag me somewhere so then I might be able to see it. I used to like bouldering. Yeah, it's such a different exercise thing. I like the problem solving aspect of it. That's one thing I really do like about it. And the social stuff as well, because it is kind of, with the gym, you're kind of just in there doing your thing, getting it done. And it's a little bit more solitary. I've been trying to get a pose right for an illustration I'm doing, but the shapes aren't working. Have you ever abandoned of a pose because the shapes, or would you suggest working through it? It depends. It depends. Without looking at it, it's hard to tell. How long have you been working on it for? And do you have any inclination as to why it might not be working? how do you derive these proportions and forms for the car? I just did a quick sketch, if I'm honest. I'm just looking at the whole, because it's really not like a great caricature of this particular car. I'm more focused on the light for this one. But yeah, I was really just thinking about like a box and a box on top, and then filling in the rest. I worked at a climbing gym in my teens. It was just parties would come in, work for 2 hours, and that was a job. Nice one. But I got to climb for free on those days. I just bowled for hours after. That's sick. That's very cool. I like the vibe of the climbing gym that we've got here. It's very, very cool. Very different to your typical gym environment, where it's more like bodybuildery, which I don't hate, but it's just different. It's a little bit, I don't know. Not that the bodybuildery stuff or like the vibe is not positive, but it just feels a little bit light-hearted. Not light-hearted, but I don't know. Friendlier might be the word. I don't know. A few days, but I only have about an hour a day to work on it. Okay. So really like 4 or 5 hours on it. It is a resting pose, which feels less intuitive to me. I'm used to drawing really bang pow kind of poses. Is there a way, if it's a resting pose, there's still some, and also this is just talking without seeing it. It is someone meditating in Caesar pose, in case you want to know the specifics. I'm used to shapes with more energy. Let's have a look at a Caesar pose. Or Caesar. S-E-I-Z-A. Pose. Okay. All right, so they're just sitting on their feet. Yeah, it is a tricky one. Is it front or 3/4? Or back? Or side? Caesar is how samurai sit. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to say without having a look at it myself, but would there be, like, have they got, like, what sort of costume? Is it a samurai? Could you use that to add a little bit more weight to it? How the cloth can fall on the floor potentially. But you're having problems with the shapes, right? Maybe it could be worth doing a bunch of smaller iterations, like little thumbnail iterations with different shapes. Really give yourself permission to just like push the shapes more and more. 3/4 sort of top down, which isn't doing me any favors either. Yeah, it's a samurai. Okay. Well, it could be worth just knocking out a few. Like, you've got your main one here, let's say. Just do like, give yourself 5 or 6 different, like, I don't know, poses with different shapes, like maybe a little bit wider. Right, you know what I mean? You just keep going and going and going, and then see if something sort of clicks. Because I'll find if I try and just hit something bang on in the first go, you know, it's a, sometimes it works, but oftentimes it doesn't. I prefer the look of climbers over bodybuilders. They still have muscles, but it's subtle, slim and practical, whereas bodybuilders' muscle mass, they don't really use or need. They do if they keep going to the gym. That's about it. But yeah, no, I can see where you come from, Super. Okay, I think we should actually start things. See, we zoom out and it's starting to look like something, which is cool. Slowly starting to look like something. So this is that reflection there. This could actually be quite a bit brighter. I think we can get rid of the sketch as well. Yeah, get rid of the sketch. That's good. Is this an idea board? No, this is just a random page of streaming sketches. These streams in reality are just a way for me to keep my practice up while I'm very, very, very busy on other stuff. So there's like, I'd like to get more focused with them, and I've said this a lot over the months. This is really just having a bit of fun, you know, getting my practice in. Drawing them small is making them a bit easier. Nice. Nice. It's going to help you out a ton, I reckon. And if they read better at a smaller size, then you can sort of have a bit more confidence that they're going to read a little bit better at a larger size as well. Okay, so this top part needs a bit of work. How can we do this more efficiently? That's what I should be asking. Love the graphic forms. Thank you. A bit early for me. Got to attend first time. Ah, nice one. First timer. Great to have you. Okay, let's see what we can do here. So this, got a little bit of something here. Yeah, you know what? I'm just fiddling at the moment. Let's use a little soft light and see if we can make these glow. just a little bit. It's looking very messy. If I were to take a lot of time with this, I would... I would probably... take more time with it. Painting with a fill tool is peak. Most of my favorite digital artists do it. Yeah, no, I love it. It's such an unlock. All right, let's think here. We squint our eyes a little bit. What do we got? I would like a quicker way to actually scale this weight up and down. That would actually be pretty helpful. Alright, I think it's merge time. Merge it all into one. We still got to put that bloody dinosaur in here somewhere. Can I get away with this? Maybe. Yeah, I can get away with that. It's a little bit cheeky, but you know what? It's hard for me to wrap my head around using the fill tool to paint. It does take a little bit of time. Definitely. But it is a massive, massive time saver. See, the lights have got a little bit of that bloom to them. Okay, where are we putting this dinosaur, hey? as I just keep going with not the dinosaur, but that's okay. Yeah, this would need just a little bit more thinking with it, but I don't feel like thinking right now. So we're just going to do that, and that'll do. I think we might even be missing. Yeah, let's just throw one in here. Just because we can. Whoa. Excuse me. No, I'm getting too finicky with it. But I did brighten it up a little bit, which is fine. All right, dinosaur. How are we popping him in the sheen? Maybe behind the car? Might just fill in his shape first. Gamer. Very good. Very good. I've been meaning to do some plein air digital painting using the fill tool, but it's so hard to see the screen in sunlight. Yeah, that's an issue, right? I use a custom gradient tool to do the soft edges instead of an airbrush, just to stay... Ooh, I've seen... what's her face do that a lot? Lowish. I see her use that gradient tool a lot, which could be quite a nice time saver as well. Okay. You also want to think about the scale, how big everything is. Maybe walking out of the convenience store, or so it looks like he's actually filling it up. We'd have to, yeah, take into account the scale. I think I learned it from either Tiffany Mang or Camille Rodriguez. I can't remember. Yeah, I've seen Tiffany use it as well. Yeah, no, it's a good, really, really good tool. I do want to see. Yeah, I've got to think about this composition, right? We could just start making him fit in the scene. Possibly. Just got to make a decision. Well, let's just get him directly under the lights and see what we can do. I'm going to try that gradient trick. This will be actually quite dark underneath. Thank you, Andy. Elected to be the most rideable dinosaur. Is that an actual thing? Because I can see that. Now, what if... Yeah, it needs to be a little bit smaller. Nah. Kind of just want to draw the dinosaur and see if I can match it for now. It's just usually the first dinosaur you tame in the game arc. They're passive herbivores, big enough to be a pet. Oh, there you go. No, they're really cool. It's going to be a fairly intense kind of light. I do want to ground him and get him some of that drop shadow in here for sure. Because that's going to really help sit him in the scene. So we've got, he might actually be more backlit here. Just a smidge. Twelve, Ben, do you have a process when it comes to designing buildings or environments from imagination? It could be pretty similar, honestly, to the characters. Start with the simplest shapes first to give yourself a little bit of something to grasp onto. Otherwise, it's just going to be sort of like an uphill battle. If the shapes aren't feeling right at a small scale, you're going to be having a pretty tricky time. Otherwise, so yeah, starting small to large with the shapes. It's kind of feeling like he's fitting in a little bit. Still a little bit probably too bright on the head. There was an old gas station with a dinosaur as its logo. Sinclair, I think it was. There used to be one in my hometown in the 60s. There is one. There was one in on the way from San Diego to Pasadena that we stopped at. I took a photo of it. I can't remember, but it's like a little green dinosaur, I think. That felt very Disney to me. Like very Pixar-esque. Yeah, I went to that. I think I went to the same one. Because of cars? Yeah, probably actually. Right, so let's think about where this light would be coming from. We could have him just off in the distance as well if we wanted to. Yeah, I'm not liking the placement, but we've just got to roll with what we've got. I didn't really think this through. So we give him a little bit of this sort of stuff. It's a much bigger dinosaur. I know. You're not wrong. But if I did this, then this is a baby one, okay? Actually, no, I decide it is a baby one. A little fella. But also, how come? Why is that whole thing being selected? What have I done here? It'll probably be more like that. Guaranteed, right? Which isn't terrible. The only thing is he'll be quite backlit then. And then we'll lose a little bit more of the detail in the face. It would be subtle. So all of this would then probably be in shadow. Which, you know what, I don't hate, actually. When you look off to the right screen, left, are you looking at the monitor showing the same screen as your tablet? I am actually, because I get a smaller view. So yeah, I don't hate that actually. We then just have to be a little bit trickier with how we're lighting him. So we might have to play around a little bit with the rim lights. Yeah, so it's like stepping backwards quick. Yeah, exactly, but it's just over here. It's just a nice little perk of the job, of the streaming job with OBS. So what we could see here now is some of this happening. But we could lose. Yeah, it's a balancing game for sure. His feet would then probably be a little more in. This feels more like realistic. Because the light's coming from behind him now. This shadow probably be coming this way a bit more. Something like that, potentially. Yeah, we kind of lose him a little bit. That's alright. It's all just a little experiment. Get a little bit of that light coming through. Just bleeding in just ever so slightly here. I like that. Good call on the gradient tool. It's a nice little time saver. What if we change his color to an orange instead of a blue? That could work. I think we've got an odd little tangent here as well, which isn't helping us. Whoa. Just squashed him. Come on, just go up in the same aspect ratio. I mean, that's kind of a better silhouette for him. Let's see what he looks like with a different color. Maybe a more orange could be cool. But him being orange with like a bluer... Yeah, just thinking about making contrast with the night sky. But if you get a blue light, which is typically going to be like the night sky, or like have a bluish tinge, onto something on the opposite end of the color spectrum, then it's going to reduce the values quite a lot. So it might not actually show up as so much of an orange on the top here. It might be more where the light hits him. Maybe. Yeah, and this is just like a really fun little problem solving. Now I quite like the blue. We could try. Come on. Like a blue to really, or even go like Barney. I actually like that, like really teal. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it all comes. Honestly, it all comes down to a value thing because you kind of gets lost here a little bit. We could do some kick lights, which is what they would do if this was a movie, you know. So we might even come through here. Just make sure we have some of that rim light hitting the top of him, which will help him stand out a little bit. Same as here. Then he's got this weird tangent here, so I'd almost get rid of that. And then we can be really subtle with the night sky. So then we can come through Maybe with like a soft light. And still see how we can make this still feel like a 3D form. Woman, yeah. Yeah, shifting it a little more yellow. I think it's my ale kicking in, nice one. Yeah, it's up because you've got like the warmer sort of lights here, so we do want to keep an eye on that. And because this light is going to be coming through here, it's going to be casting a bit of a shadow. Or the hottest spot is going to be probably on his leg there. Because we actually do have a hidden light source here, which could help us out a lot. Right there. So it really sort of brings him out a little bit more. Candace, how you doing? Thank you. Thanks for popping in. We're just trying to fit this little fella into the scene. Yeah, that's a good question actually. I wonder if this was a feathered. Let's hope not. I don't like the feathers personally. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm hoping not. And the shadow would actually be more this way. And then here would we see more of this reflection from the wet ground. Probably. So it sits him in the scene even more. Yeah. It's unlikely this one was feathered. Oh, thank goodness. Seems like it was mostly theropod raptors that were feathered, though some dinosaurs like Triceratops. Oh, they had quills. Interesting. 10 foot tall. Yeah, true. All right, so we without, without, with. I think, yeah, we should keep this here and make sure that we are getting some of this reflection going inside. That shadow, just a little bit. That's a little bit too much. Yeah, I need to make this a little bit sharper because we scaled him up and scaled him back down and all that fun stuff. Way too much. Sam, what's going on? I did not tell you to do this, Sam. But appreciate that you're going out on your own. That's exciting. Gamer, he needs a name. I'll let you guys do that. I'm just doing the drawing. My favorite dinosaur is the Deinonychus, one of the few theropods big enough to ride. Ben, do you have a favorite dinosaur? I like the hard-headed ones. I can't remember what that one was called. I like the ones where they headbutt each other. For some reason, I don't know why. And the Triceratops, probably. That looks like a Jeff to me. Peter. That seems nice. The Pachysaurolophus. Pachycephalosaur. Oh no. Pachycephalus. That one. There you go. This guy should be called Gil. Actually, I like Gilbert. Gilbert's kind of nice. His friends call him Bert. So I'm just throwing in a little bit of the cheeky kick light here. I don't know, there's a lot of finessing that this guy would need for sure to get him feeling good. But for a little stream effort, not terrible. I might want to do a little bit of this where there's just a little bit of color variation on the underside. I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, but we're going to do it anyway. Oh, Candace, the dinosaurs make no sense to me either. Peter Parasaur Parker. Gilby the Petrol Para. I saw a guy do line art with a lasso tool once. It was the most unhinged thing I've ever seen. I like doing that. It's really, really good fun. Like getting right up in here and just really carving out. All these little line art bits and pieces just to really make things pop. It's like a really, really nice, I don't know, a nice experience. His little mouth is going to be a bit of a different color as well, I think. His little beak. Almost. So just adding a bit of that color variation did help quite a bit. So without it, with it, yeah, that helps. Now we're taking into account the new light source we introduced. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, we could just keep going and going and going and going. Giving Gilby some juicy lips, Colleen would be proud. Alright, last little go to see if we can get him to pop a little bit more. Can we just add a little bit of that rim light? Doesn't make sense, but sometimes you just got to do it. Yeah, look, it's fine. Not the best. Not the worst. It is what it is. Can we get rid of this? Whoa. I mean, that looks kind of cool. Complete accident. Just gives it a little bit of a... I don't know what. Maybe just roll with it. I did want to see that just poke out the top a little bit, just from a compositional standpoint. And make a good shirt print. I wouldn't mind it as just like a normal, like if I spent time to like really finish it up and that kind of thing, have it just as like a this. I wouldn't mind doing like a series, because I love doing these. These are good fun. I do a, so it actually pops out. of the actual white space, which would be kind of cool. But yeah, look, overall, I'd call this stream a success. I've had a bit of fun, you know. I've never drawn one of these fellas before, so that was good. We got some practice in with a bit of color, a bit of light, some of these simplified shapes. I do want just to, I need more time. These always have to get cut short from how far I'd like to take them. But not bad for a couple of hours work. Oh, super. I like it. It's telling a story. The driver's left. I wish I thought of that. I wish I thought of that. Very good. Thank you, gamer. Yeah, the image is telling a story. The door is open because the driver ran inside the building after seeing the dinosaur. And we could do like a little silhouette, something here of like showing someone like on the phone or like looking at him. Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be very cool. But yeah, while I noodle on this for a couple more minutes, if you do like this stylized stuff, check out the links in the description. Got an 8-hour 10 chapter walkthrough tutorial available right now. Currently working on a new course platform, which will be hosting all of my new courses that will be coming out over the next 6 to 12 months, which will be good. Keep an eye out for that. You know where to find me. Everything else, you know where to find me. For those that are in chat, you're a bunch of bloody legends for sticking around, chatting with me. Yeah, Shaggy and Scooby style, peeking around the edge. Yep, no, that'll be cool. Or even like through the window here or something. I reckon that'll be fun. Yeah, I could see this like doing a whole series of these. That'll be, even as like YouTube videos and stuff. That'll be cool. Yeah, those in chat, absolute legends. Those that aren't in chat, that are looming in the background, you're still bloody legends. Thanks for popping in. Always appreciate it. Having bits poke out of the frame of any illustration is chef's kiss. I know, Kern. I like that as well. I probably overdo that a little bit too much, but it's something I do like to do. Yeah, I don't think there's any more plugs. I've got to head to the gymnasium. And then I gotta get cracking on the next lesson for the workshop. Thank you everyone for popping in. It was good fun. I hope you learned a little bit. I certainly did. This stream happens weekly for those that are new here. Thank you, Super. You're too kind. Been a while. You have a great week, man. Oh, Andy, I wouldn't want to show him that light box for that exact reason. I'm like, no. I can't show the master my dinosaurs. Yeah, this stream happens every week, same time, 10:45 Australian Central Standard Time, which is a Monday. Sunday, for those of you on PST, I reckon it's around 4 p.m, 3:30, 4 p.m, something like that. So, with that, I'm going to bid you adieu. I'm not even sure that's how you say it, but I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of your week, and until next time.